Yes, the component of cell structure. Now, structural elements, mostly the macro elements responsible for the structure, and the trace element. They are important in the functions. They are important in the functions. So then we cannot take directly. And then reactants in metabolism. Metabolism is the chemical reactions, and the chemical reaction, usually the chemistry, we use this word reactants, but in biology we use the word substrate. Chemistry word reactant, but biology, it's not a correct word for biology, it's a substrate. Substrate, let's, for example, carbon dioxide and water is the substrate which make a glucose. We don't see trace element coming to that way. And then the constituents of hormones. Again, hormones are protein hormone and lipid hormones, and we don't see trace element. Now the answer is, I think some of them correctly answered, it is a cofactor. Right, this is coming in the enzyme lesson, but I have this analysis. Analysis means knowledge you need to write here because it is needed for the exam and also for the coming up lessons like enzymes. Right, so let's see what is the meaning of cofactor. Enzymes are proteins and they are quite large molecule like this. If I want to draw the enzyme, it is a large molecules and they have a small place here called active site. The triangle is an active site. And then substrate or reactant as per this, like this. Substrate can join to this space. Then after that, substrate become product. Enzyme convert substrate into product, so they catalyze in biological reaction, they speed up the biological reactions. That's the basic of enzymes. We will also find some of the enzymes, they have another place. Another place is, okay, I draw it here, somewhere here. Another place like this. Now to activate these enzymes, there should be a molecule we should bind here. This one is a non-protein. And the non-protein activator of enzyme is called cofactor. It's called cofactor. So we can say some enzyme need cofactors for its activation. Binding of non-protein activator of enzyme can activate the enzyme. They are called cofactors. And the cofactors are two types. One is called prosthetic group. Another one is called coenzyme. Now prosthetic groups is the metals. Now we can take trace element. The trace elements are well-known metal. Trace elements are the cofactors for enzyme activation. Then you understand cofactors of enzyme. Also remember, coenzymes are two most coenzymes we're going to learn in the future in respiration. These are NAD and FAD. They are the name given for these non-protein molecules, flavine adenine dinucleotide and nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide. They are the coenzymes. Okay. Yes. Yes, you should write under the analysis. I have this because this knowledge is required not maybe directly here, but in the future enzyme lessons. You learn this one. So one of the thing I do, if we repeat certain things again and again, you better understand, you better learn, like a recap. So here you learn cofactor, again you're going to learn in enzyme in cofactor. So then you have a better understanding about the cofactor. So you can write under analysis, this is the enzyme, this is site is called active site, and this is called the red color one is a substrate. And this one is the site for cofactor, right? Cofactor binding site. So you can write this down under the analysis section. That means we analyze this question and we gathered the knowledge required to answer this question, and this knowledge is required in the enzymes. Right, we have done these elements, and I think you learn all about the enzyme, the elements which you need for the exams and for your knowledge. Still, you have a question you can ask, right? If you have a question, please ask the questions. You can send via Zoom, then we can answer the question. Yes. What is this NAD and FAD? So NAD and FAD are called coenzyme. So we can learn like this. Some enzymes need non-protein activators. They are called cofactors. Cofactors are two types. One is a prosthetic group, second one is a coenzyme. Example of coenzymes, NAD and FAD. Example of coenzyme, NAD and FAD, they are molecules, and these molecules are consist of sugars and some kind of phosphate groups like this. We will learn this NAD and FAD as coenzymes in respiration. Cellular respiration we are learning at the moment. How do you remember? Cofactors are two types, prosthetic group. Prosthetic groups are metals, trace elements. Second one is coenzymes. Example of coenzymes, NAD, nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide, and flavin adenine dinucleotide. So we will learn this in the future, don't worry, NAD, FAD. We have to learn, and we have to learn at the end of the lesson, we're going to learn again. Continuously we are learning NAD, FAD in the coming up lessons. For the moment, it's an example of coenzyme. Okay, Kitusha, I answer your questions. Anuprada, yes, your question answered. Fine. We're going to learn the next one, water molecules. I hope you copy this text written under the analysis. So I'm going to delete this one, and we are going to start new lessons of water molecules. Right, we write the chemical formula of water H2O. That means it has a one oxygen atom and two hydrogen atoms. Right, straightforward. Hydrogen has one electron. Oxygen has 8 electrons. These 8 electrons, 6 are on the outer shells. Six are on the outer shells. Being a power of octet, octet is 8. If 8 electrons are allocated on the last shell, they are very stable. So oxygen molecule trying to get electrons to become stable. The easiest way is this electron from hydrogen try to attract to this direction. This electron from hydrogen try to attract to this direction. And then it make a bond by attracting these electrons, because the nucleus of this atom has neutron and protons. So protons are positively charged. They can attract this electron, which is called electronegativity. You don't need that much of knowledge in biology, but chemistry you're going to learn. Simply, this electron is slightly shifted to the oxygen side. This electron is slightly shifted to the oxygen side. Now oxygen has little bit of power from these electrons. So then we say this is slightly negative because of these two electrons. These two electrons located close to the oxygen, slightly positive. But hydrogen, they lose the pull power of the electrons because electron is slightly moved toward the oxygen. Then they get a slightly positive power because the proton of the hydrogen give the slightly positive charge. The positive and positive try to repel with each other. That means they don't attract positive charges. They're going to move away, and then they get a V shape with a 104.5 degree angle. So we get the V shape of the water molecules. So this is the water molecule, and water molecule is simple molecule but powerful molecule. It is a base for the life. Life is formed on the ground of water, right? So another important thing, if you get another water molecule closed here, so this water molecule like this, hydrogen, hydrogen and oxygen. So this hydrogen has a slightly negative power, slightly positive power, and this is slightly negative. Now they are attractive. Oxygen negative, hydrogen is positive. Then again they make a bond. This bond is called hydrogen bond. Quite weak bond. Hydrogen bond is weak bond. They can break and they can form again with the change of energy. Right. So if one water molecule attached to another water molecule, they link with each other. So imagine you take a glass of water. The glass of water full of water molecules. But the water molecules are linked with each other from the hydrogen bonds. And this hydrogen bond linkage is called, it gives a special property, cohesion. This property is called cohesive. Cohesive is kind of binding to each other. As a result, water exists as a one unit. And sometimes, if there is a surface, let's say this is the surface, and the surface is negatively charged, then the hydrogen is positively charged, hydrogen can still make a bond with the surface. And this property is called adhesive property. Right. Can you copy this down? So I will little bit decorate this. Oxygen, hydrogen, hydrogen, oxygen, hydrogen, hydrogen. Okay. So we learn two properties, cohesion and adhesion property, adhesion and cohesion property, adhesive and cohesive property of water molecules. Right. Another thing we can also learn here, due to this dipolar nature. So dipolar is presence of negative charge and also slightly positive charges. Slightly negative and slightly positive charges. Right, then another important property is I think water accounts for 70% to 80% of living matter, and the cell is also consist of 70 to 80% of water, and the cell made the organism has 70 to 80% of water. Being a molecule, simple molecule of water, it gives so much of property for the life. You will learn the cohesive and adhesive properties are important for the life. So many places, especially unit 4 when we are learning about the plants heavily use this cohesive and adhesive property. And in the lessons, we have a small section about introducing water and then properties of water molecules. Right. While you are listening, you can also copy this down under the below the water molecules, the space given in the notes. Then you can better understand why these properties are coming from the water molecule. Let's say another property. Water is an excellent solvent because life is not made out of water, many things added to the water. Many molecules should transport within this water-based system. Let's see this example. We're going to add sodium chloride to a glass of water. So when we add sodium chloride to the glass of water and you dissolve it, you don't see the sodium chloride after a while. We call it dissolved. But if you add a stone to the glass of water, you still see the stone. Stone is not dissolved. It's visible. When it not visible, we define yes, it is dissolved. Now, what is the meaning of dissolved in chemical nature? When we add sodium and chloride, right? The sodium ion is positively charged. The sodium ion can make a bond with this oxygen because oxygen is negatively charged. Then the chloride one negatively charged. Then the chloride ion make a bond with the hydrogen ion because hydrogen is positively charged. Now this is actually the story of the solubility. Being able to make a bonds with the water molecule, we can say it's soluble. So I write here solubility. Able to make a bonds. Able to make a bond. Solubility is able to make a bond with water molecule, right? So we can explain the property of water owing to the chemical nature of the water molecules. So we can clearly understand cohesion, adhesion, and then solubility. Okay, so you can copy this down, and I'm trying to take the notes. Water molecule. Yes, under water molecules, it is important that you copy this structure of the water molecule, and you can refer to the revision notes, the points which I discussed, it's written down. And the second thing coming up in the notes, the properties of water molecules. Under properties of water molecule, the first one is a cohesive and adhesive property. Right, I have a picture on it. I hope you copied this one. If not, quickly send me no on Zoom chat, then I can stay a little bit before I delete this one, right? So we again look the first property of water molecule, cohesive and adhesive property, right? So I'm going to delete. Okay, this up. You have not got the notes. Notes uploaded to the link I sent it to you. You can download the notes from this link. Today I show you, I have showed the website. Under the website there are 3 columns, revision notes, workbook and the tutorial. So revision notes, you can download today's lessons. Next is a workbook that you can download again from that one to add this information. And the other one, tutorials, you can also download and keep with you. Check my WhatsApp message. The link is there. You click the link, go to the website, and you can download it. If not, let me know that if you can't download, right? Okay. So we have this first property, cohesive. Cohesive and adhesive property. Now, why this picture is important? This is a small insect called water strider. Now, water strider can move on the surface of the water. So they are the frequent living place is the surface of the water. So it is the habitat. Habitat is the place where naturally organism lives. So the water striders lives on the surface of water. Now this is possible because of the cohesive and adhesive property make a continuous layer. So the water molecule make a continuous layer on the surface. So one water molecule join with another water molecule with these hydrogen bonds, and they make a continuous surface on the water. So this continuous existence of the molecules together is very important to make some of the properties, and the plants and animals benefit this linking of each water molecule with each other as many times. So we will better learn this in the plant section, how it is important, right? So cohesive adhesion property is able to make a continuous layer because of the cohesive and adhesive property. Right. Next one is second property is ability to moderate temperature. Right? Ability to moderate the temperature. So let's see what is the meaning of that. Ability to moderate temperature. Okay, simply it is like this. Assume this is a water body, water molecule, collection of water molecules, and cell is also made out of water molecule. Let's say this is a cell, and cell has 70% of water. Now the cell exposed to the temperature, let's say high temperature, then the heat is transferred to these objects. This solid matter, heat is absorbed by the solid matter. When the heat is absorbed, the temperature should increase because heat can increase the temperature. But water has ability not change the temperature very quickly. It doesn't change the temperature very quickly, right? So then does not change the temperature. I mean, this is not like a high temperature. Mean it is not if a cell is exposed to 100-degree temperature, then it can't change. But we have a body temperature 37 degree. Let's say human body has 37 degree. But we exposed to a 40 degree, 45 degree, because naturally there is a chance of exposed to this kind of thing. Then the heat transfer to the body, but that increase of the temperature to a 6, 7, 8, 9 degrees, still the temperature remain 37 because of the high specific heat capacity. So it has high specific heat capacity. It can absorb the heat, but does not change dramatically the temperature. So what happens when the heat is absorbed? The hydrogen bond is breaking. The hydrogen bonds are breaking, right? So when the hydrogen bonds are breaking, and then it is not easy to break all the bonds because millions of water molecules make millions of hydrogen bonds. So it takes time. It needs a good amount of energy to break the bond. Then only water can evaporate. So then organism can better survive in the nature with the change of the temperatures, as the water can withstand with a change of the temperatures. It doesn't change easily. I think naturally we have some kind of example. Probably if you touch a metal surface, you feel very cold or hot. For example, if a car is parked outside on a hot day, you just touch the body of the car. It's very hot. But you can keep a water bottle. The water bottle is not that hot. This is a good example from the nature explaining us metal absorb heat quickly and temperature is going up, but water absorbs the same heat, but its temperature is not increased because of the large amount of hydrogen bonds. Then the energy is not enough to break this bond to absorb this heat. Right, the third one, expansion upon freezing. Okay, I'm going to delete this one. I'm going to the third one, expansion upon freezing. Alright, so what is this? We take this example. So what we can see water and ice. And we can see ice is floating on water. If we still hesitate to believe the ice is floating on water. Take this example, and we know the ice cubes are floating on the glass. So when you add the water and ice, the ice is floating on the surface. But ice is water, water is water. Both chemical composition is H2O. This chemical composition is H2O. Then by looking at this picture, your conclusion is the ice is not heavy, because we know heavy things are going down, or maybe in the middle, or if it is lighter, then it's floating. Then the ice is not heavier than the water. Why this is important? Now imagine if it is freezing, how can living organism, aquatic organism live? Right? When the water starts to freeze, it goes to the top and make these ice layers. And inside, the aquatic animals can still survive. They can move because it is not frozen. So naturally, this makes a good property for living organisms, that they will not die. For us, what is important? How it happened? Now to explain this, when we try to reduce the temperature, let's say starting from 25 room temperature, and then when it's come to a 4 degree, this is the maximum density. After that, density decrease. Water density decrease below 4 Celsius degree. Why is that? Because if we take this area, if we take this area and the same area at the cold 0 degree and 25 degree, and if we take water molecules, oxygen, hydrogen and hydrogen. So here we have let's say 2 water molecules or 3 water molecules, 2 water molecules. Now when it's cold, when it's getting colder, the hydrogen bond expand. Hydrogen bond expand. As a result of that, it can occupy only 1 molecule. Here you can see 2 molecules, here you can see 1 molecule, because of the expansion of the hydrogen bonds. Hydrogen bond expand. As a result, less molecule in a given surface area. In a given volume, there is a less number of water molecules. Less number of water molecules mean these 2 volumes, this one and this one, this has 2 water molecules, this has 1 water molecule, this is heavier, this is not heavier, and it's floating. So this is the reason hydrogen bond expand upon freezing. As a result, there are less molecules occupied in a given volume than the high temperatures. Okay. So you can add this onto the notes, and the revision notes you will see again detailed explanation, right? Fine. Actually, I missed another question on the notes. Yes. Okay, hope you copy this one. The fourth property is a solvent property. I think I explained from the beginning solvent property. Water has slightly negative charge, slightly positive charge. As a result, it can make a bond with the molecules. It is an excellent solvent. So, the living organism, water is the medium that many molecules can dissolve. So they can have a biological reactions because it's a solubility, and it can also transport because of well dissolved in the water. Right, then there is a question, MCQ questions, but the MCQ question is a little bit of again need knowledge of plants, which we haven't done, but we can give it a try. Let's see the question. Okay, this is the question. You can give it a try. Okay, we need to come back again to learn this. So please log again once we disconnected from this session, right? Then we discuss this question.